Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and tackle what is honestly a massive strategic blind spot in generative AI today. We're talking about open weight versus open source AI.
You hear these buzzwords, open weight and open source, thrown around in boardrooms constantly, almost like they're totally interchangeable. But are they actually the same thing?
Well, the answer is a definitive no. And trust me, that difference really, really matters. Misunderstanding this distinction isn't just arguing over semantics. It is a huge risk for enterprise adoption, security, and governance. If you get this wrong, you could be exposing your organization to risks you didn't even know existed, all while missing out on some major strategic advantages. So to debunk this myth and help you find the right strategy, here is our agenda for today. We'll quickly cover the great AI confusion, car hoods versus blueprints, why choose open weights, enterprise risks and rewards, and finally, the hybrid AI future.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the great AI confusion. Moving right along to Section 2, car hoods versus blueprints.
To really wrap our heads around this difference, let's use a physical analogy. Think of open-weight AI like buying a car where the hood is popped open. You can drive it, you can swap out some parts, and you can definitely look around in there. But you don't necessarily know exactly how it was put together on the factory floor or where the raw materials came from. Now compare that to open-source AI. That is like getting the full engineering blueprint. You have the complete design in your hands. You can rebuild the whole thing from scratch, audit every single bolt, and basically manufacture your own custom versions. It's the classic difference between just tinkering with a finished product and actually having the power to build it yourself.
So mapping this out side by side, it gets really interesting. With open weights, you're essentially just getting the trained model parameters, literally the weights that you can download and run. It gives you great operational control, sure, but your ability to tweak it is kind of limited to just fine-tuning. But with open source, you get the whole shebang. The weights, the code, the training methods, the documentation, and those crucial OSI-style open source licenses. Open weights might leave you with partial transparency and make reproducibility pretty tough since the original training data is kept hidden. But open source gives you maximum control and full transparency so you can inspect and rebuild the entire stack.
It really all boils down to this one crucial quote. Open-weight AI gives organizations control, but open-source AI gives organizations control plus transparency. One hands you the steering wheel, and the other lets you audit the entire factory.
Which brings us to Section 3. Why choose open weights?
Now, you might be wondering, if open source offers so much more transparency, why don't AI vendors just give away the farm? Well, it's a very calculated compromise. They take a step-by-step approach, driven mostly by three things. First up, ecosystem adoption. By releasing just the weights, developers can still run models locally, fine-tune them, and build apps, which makes the technology spread like wildfire. Second is competitive positioning. Vendors want everyone using their tech, but they fiercely protect their proprietary training data and infrastructure because, well, that's their secret sauce. And third, regulatory flexibility. They can spur innovation by publishing the weights, all while holding back the sensitive training details to keep their own regulatory and security risks in check.
Let's pivot slightly for Section 4, enterprise risks and rewards.
So what's in it for you as an enterprise leader? Well, you can gain some massive advantages by deploying open weights. Number one, private deployment. You can run these models entirely inside your own data centers. That means keeping your highly sensitive data strictly behind your firewall, totally away from external AI providers. Number two, customization. You can fine-tune these models for your highly specific niche workflows. We're talking specialized cybersecurity, complex healthcare tasks, or deep financial analysis. And number three, vendor independence. You significantly cut down your reliance on a single cloud AI provider. That's a huge win.
But hold on, because the risks are just as real. The biggest red flag here is unknown training provenance. Because you don't have those full open-source blueprints we talked about, your model might have ingested bias data, unsafe patterns, or even copyrighted material during its creation. And that opens you up to some pretty severe supply chain threats. Think malicious fine-tunes, modified files, or hidden behaviors that are just incredibly hard to spot without the original code. Plus, there's a huge governance hurdle. You're basically entirely on your own for model scanning, version control, and managing access.
All right, our final section, Part 5, the hybrid AI future.
The reality we're heading toward is that the future enterprise AI stack is highly likely to be hybrid. The organizations that actually succeed in this landscape won't just pick one extreme or the other. They're going to balance innovation, control, transparency, and risk management through a unified hybrid approach.
And here is where open weights absolutely shine in that hybrid model. They are perfect for maximizing privacy over your most secure operations. You should be deploying private open weight models for things like private knowledge assistance, security analytics, code analysis, internal automation, basically any highly proprietary workflow where your data literally cannot leave the building.
On the flip side, you want to reserve those closed frontier models for tasks that demand the absolute highest capability reasoning. So when you need complex multimodal tasks done, rapid experimentation, or fully vendor-supported applications, that is exactly when you tap into closed AI services. You get the most advanced capabilities without all the heavy operational lifting.
So ultimately, it's really not an open versus closed battle at all. You need to look at your own stack and ask yourself a critical strategic question. Which of my workloads require maximum control, privacy, and customization, and which ones need maximum capability and convenience? Honestly, answering that is the secret to building a successful hybrid AI future. So, looking at your organization right now, are you prepared to make that choice?